No, I'm not piggybacking off of Simo's content. This was something that I've wanted to do since last week. I've actually had a few videos that you're probably going to see similar opinions on and things, but OTS 4 is rolling around the corner. And I actually wanted to talk about this. It's been probably one of the more frequently asked questions I've gotten in my Facebook inbox as of late. Just asking my general opinion on what I think is going to happen with OTS 4 and what we can generally expect. First off, I didn't want to open up the Dev Pro and just show off the dinosaur cards and machine support. Typically with an OTS that is coming out right around the time of a structure deck, there's going to be some sort of content in there that will support the machine and the dinosaurs that are coming out. So before we even go into that, expect to see some sort of beefy content that involves dinosaurs and machine support in general. Whether or not we see another system down reprint, this time as a common, or if we see common reprints of Urabe to Sabersaurus to Kabazools, just as general, I guess, points to support those archetypes. I don't know what they're going to be outside of maybe those few possible things. It could just be some absurd old cards that need reprints that aren't going to be in the structure deck, but it's typically a good set. Typically also remember that OTS packs, Astro packs, Turbo packs do not count as reprint sets for the game in terms of their mindset to reprinting, from what I've heard and read throughout the past. Granted that it is what it is, but typically, you know, you could see MX Saber Invoker in here because it's not technically a reprint, but I'm not going to throw that one out for this video. So, first up, I feel like some sort of kaiju is going to be in there. Typically, I feel like these sets are designed at least 3 months in advance in terms of OTS. As soon as, you know, they roll out 3, they're planning ahead for the next one. With the rise of the OCG playing kaijus, I feel like the Lightning Strike kaiju is going to be one of the first ones. If not, Doggeron is going to follow suit, but this kaiju is going to look phenomenal. I don't think this card is going to get an ultimate. I think at some point that this card would just be suitable as a super. The last printing of it was from Shining Victories. I believe it did not have anything in the Megatins. So bear that in mind when you're looking at the kaijus. Much like I'm expecting there to be a Metal Foes card in there. I didn't go through the list. I've heard Bismugear, a lot of people have been wanting. But for around the time that the set was designed, I could see Bismugear, but I'm going on my bet for this set to be the Lightning Strike Kaiju. I think just overall this card would look phenomenal as a super. Definitely with the Kaiju hype that has come into the TCG, and I feel like the people in R&D already would have planned for those events. Next up, Artifact Lancia. So the last printing of this thing was in MP15, and this card does not have a holo printing. R&D would have been under the assumption, or whoever designs this set, that Infernoids were going to be a powerhouse. Once again, looking ahead to what the OCG was dealing with, and things like that in their time, this card is a very powerful answer, much like Imperial Iron Wall. Imperial Iron Wall has ultras and super printings. Lancia only has commons. In terms of a card that could use a substantial extra printing, Lancia, granted, is not very expensive. However, a card as good as what this card does, combined with Sanctum, essentially playing 6 copies of it if you're playing the Artifact engine, this card would be a very good candidate for a possible super printing. It's kind of one of the only artifacts outside of Moraltac and Scythe that even sees any remote play, and I would definitely like to see Lancia have his super finally. I think it would be gorgeous. Next up, this will get a super at some point. We've seen cards like Monkey Board get immediate holo printings after their set. I think Zodiac Combo, literally being the only one next besides Ram Ram and Rabina, in terms of the big names, and Borbo. If this card gets a holo printing before Borbo, we're in for a shocker. But I think Combo will be in here. I think he's essentially the Monkey Board of the set. You're running out one of the biggest themes essentially in the block, next to Infernoids. So combo was printed as a common. Why not give players a chance to essentially get a higher rarity of this card? I don't think this card will see an ultimate treatment. I think super is optimal for it. Next up, much like our good friend Zodiac Combo, Void Feast, I feel like is also in the contention to get a holo printing. Whether or not it gets it right away in OTS 4 or reaches out to OTS 5. Once again, Infernoids are a very big thing, and it was anticipated that Infernoids would be returning with the return of their support card. Definitely would make a very good super. They made it common so that it would be relatively budget-esque. And now you can release a higher rarity, essentially, now that the card is circulated and did its job. So, Void Feast coming in on that Infernoid hype. Next up, Paleozoic. So, I don't know what is going to... What I would assume would be holo. I feel like one of them is going to get a holo printing. I don't know where they're going to start. It'd probably be Dynamiscus, more than likely. But I'm expecting some sort of Paleozoic support card to be a holo in the set. I don't think we're going to see all of them get holo printings, but Paleozoics in the era that this set would have been printed definitely seems like... Yeah, I definitely think we're going to get one of them. I have no fucking idea where, but we will get something. Next up is Bay. So, I think this card is going to be a super. This card has been one of the most asked for cards to be in a holo treatment since it's been used in so many degenerate decks. However, this card, reprinted as an ultimate, would look fucking gorgeous. They've done things like Dandelion, Terror Top. Why can't Snow have the potential treatment to be an ultimate rare? You know, shit in one hand, wish in the other. I just feel like Snow would be Bay if she could get her ultimate printing now. I think Super doesn't do this card justice. An ultimate printing right out of the floodgate would be a massive upgrade. Definitely, I feel like would be a money card. No, at some point, much like Lightsworn support, 2 or 3 years down the road, if an ultimate Snow exists, that card's going to be worth so much money. Much like the hype in today's format, Gaga Samurai only has one printing. I definitely think that with the anticipation of Zoo, that this thing could be on the block for an ultimate rare. Is it as likely this set? Maybe. I mean, Castell came a little bit later than his time, so I definitely think that this isn't contender for an ultimate rare. It's going to look gorgeous as an ultimate rare. I mean, Cowboy. Typically, if it's an Xyz monster that sees a general large amount of play, I know a lot of people were talking about, like, oh my god, Emeralds and ultimate would look nice. You're not wrong. However, this card has a lot of room for upgrade potential. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be considered, considering that it deals so much damage by itself and is an OTK enabler in today's format. So I have high hopes that this card gets an ultimate, but not before Fairy Tale Snow. I'll tell you guys what my main choices are in here in a little bit, but just wanted to cover the ones I think could get it. Okay, so my boy Torrential Tribute. Someone's going to be like, Robbie, why the fuck would you waste your slot on Torrential Tribute? Of all fucking things, like, give it to Book of Moon or some shit. Well, Torrential Tribute is one of those cards that would look fucking phenomenal as an ultimate rare. However, it would be thin, and I would argue that you might be able to stack it. But Raigeki got its ultimate printing. Darkhold doesn't have an ultimate printing yet, which I think Darkhold would look fucking weird. But Torrential's an ultimate. Might look as weird as Raigeki did. But I feel like this is one of those potential cards that, once again, is on the list for an ultimate treatment, just because it's been here for so long. I just think it would be as good as it is. It's kind of essentially a staple in some of the decks in this format. Whether or not they're actually playing it or not is one thing, but Torrential's definitely up there. Next up, much like Gaga Samurai, Dweller's been around for a long-ass time. It's a card that saw a lot of play in the earlier stages of formats. This might be a choice over Samurai, at least in this OTS, and we could see Samurai in OTS 5. Dweller's been used to stop Burning Abyss, Water. I mean, it's a card that's been as resilient as it has been for years. It's very cheap, much like Castella's. So why not print a bling version of it? There's not much else to really say about Dweller. It's definitely earned his metagame spot for what it was, up until Link format. Next up, oh man, this is where I get you guys. Don't tell me that Norden would not look fucking fire as an ultimate. They're like, all right, guys, we're going to run out OTS 4, and then we drop the ban list on you in May. They're like, phew! They're like, you get your ultimate Nordens for 1 month, and then we ban that shit. Bada bing, bada boom, get the fuck out of here. No, they did it with a reprint Crush card. I definitely would love to see Norden get an ultimate printing before he dies. I think that this is on my list of things in this OTS pack. Like I said, we'll talk about what I think is going to actually happen between the choices of what I want to see versus reality. Definitely, why can't we have this? Why can't I have nice things? Last up is Twin Twister. There's no argument in the entire game that says Twin Twister will not get an OTS printing at some point in its life. This card will receive an ultimate treatment. This card has been a big piece of the metagame since it's been printed. Mystical Space Typhoon got an ultimate, and essential staples like that seem to follow suit. My dream OTS pack would be Twin Twister, Norden, and Fairy Tale Snow's ultimates. I feel like if you create an OTS pack like that, you have your 3 of card here. You have your chase card is this, and your okay card is Norden. But once again, expectations versus reality. Twin Twister's probably not going to happen, and I don't think Norton's going to happen. You probably would see something like Fairy Tale Snow, Samurai, and Torrential in terms of reality. But Twin Twister is definitely going to receive an ultimate printing at some point. Definitely will receive a higher printing because the card is just that bonkers. Also looking at what's kind of left in terms of the fusion. I'm kind of expecting Marine Beast to be in here. There is the other lackluster fusion, but I mean, this is kind of all that's left. I was looking in terms of like what would help machines and dinosaurs, but there's literally just this guy and the one weird chick. I don't think they could give us the other weird chick, but Marine Beast is probably up on this block. Not much else to really say here. I'm definitely expecting this to be maybe one of the more popular packs in terms of OTS. Especially if they put Snow in here. Like, oh my god, like this card is an ultimate. Like, fucking popping boners for days, man. Like, it's gonna look so nice. But once again, expectations versus reality. This card will probably get a super. Unfortunately, it might receive an ultimate later on down the road. But these are my wishes. What do you guys want from OTS 4? What are you expecting? What do you think is going to happen? Obviously, everything in this video has been my opinion. Bear that in mind. Tell me what you guys think down below. And MCO40 is out. Deucerinos, guys. Till next time. That's not all, folks. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Please check out my Cardfight Vanguard channel, VanCole40. You guys will get an insight on our playtesting sessions. And please check out the Zodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. That way you guys can follow the House of Champions and MCO40 interactions. Please check out MCO Games for all of your guys' trading card game needs. And if you guys enjoyed this content, please check out my Patreon in the description. Every bit helps to the creation of these videos. One step at a time in improvement, and that's the goal of this channel. Alright guys, have a good time, and thanks for watching.